What's going on, guys? It's the Tutor here. Today I'm reacting to a video called The Biggest Problems with Commander in Magic the Gathering's most popular format by the one, the only Tolarian Community College. If you guys don't know who this guy is and his team, incredible, one of the OGs in the Magic the Gathering YouTube. He's just kind of really incredible. And I'm curious to see, as a Commander focused channel, really interested to see what he has to say about this. While you're here, I'll of course include a link in the description to the video and to his channel, but feel free to sub to him if you aren't already and give this video a like. Not sure what we're going to delve into, but let's do it. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's see what you got, Professor.
Commander is Magic the Gathering's most popular format for many reasons. It's the quintessential casual format, giving players the ability to play fun, varied games of Magic whenever they want, without needing to sign up for an official tournament.
It's true. I got into this game because my friends were playing it, and it was very, very simple to start playing and start learning because of their help. But it's very fun with all the amount of cards. You can do basically whatever you want.
100 card singleton is a great way to show off your collection. And the multiplayer nature means you get to involve more of your friends in a single game than you would in a 1v1 competitive match.
Yep.
If you want to build powerful, optimized decks, you can.
Yep.
If you want to build silly theme decks, you can.
True.
If you are brand new, you can sit down and play with friends more easily than any other format. And yes, Commander is a format that has received a ton of attention from Wizards of the Coast over the past several years, ever since the company recognized that this growing popularity has made Commander into a cash cow for them.
It has, and it really, really has. It's by far the most popular format, as he said. I mean, they were able to capitalize so much on just the Commander format. It brought so many people into Magic the Gathering, myself included. I mean, they started making pre-cons and all these different things just to get people to come in. And honestly, the decks they make are really, really good. You can just buy one and get kind of right into it and start playing with it right away.
And yet, for all of its positives, there are also many problems in Commander.
All right, let's hear it.
Anyone who's ever played a game will tell you, yeah, there are some serious flaws, and many of these issues are the subject of frequent debates, as many Magic the Gathering players disagree on how best to deal with them. While some players may even disagree that some of these issues are issues at all, I feel they are worth exploring, and so in this video, I'm going to talk about what I feel are the 5 absolute worst things about Commander.
There's definitely more than 5, but I'm just curious to see what he says. I mean, I think some of the more challenging ones for me personally are like people not kind of preparing in advance with their turns, because games are already very long and people are kind of like just twiddling their thumbs, not paying attention. It can take a lot longer. I like to pre-make my moves in advance and try to go as fast as possible, especially in those early turns. I've been in some games where like the third turn, there's like 10 minutes for one player. It's crazy. Just put 3 mana. It's not that complicated, but sometimes it can be. But that's my biggest gripe. And then obviously you have the power difference. And I know they have like the scale to kind of even things out. Some people, specifically friends groups, won't follow that. I mean, but I mean, we'll see what the professor says.
I want to discuss why these issues happen, what makes them problematic, and what, if anything, can be done to solve them. Now, obviously, any list about problems in Commander is subjective and somewhat personal, and this list is no different. However, to try and keep this a fair, analytical approach, this video will say that in order to qualify for our list, a problem must be something inherent to the game of Commander itself, rather than a behavior that a problem player might exhibit or the result of a poor play on someone's part.
So what I just described won't categorize it in his list, so...
In other words, I want to focus on the format of Commander, not the annoying types of players you may encounter in Commander. If you want to see me talk about the different kinds of problem players in Commander, check out this video here or linked in the video description. Alright, get your all the professor does is complain comments ready, because we've got a lot to criticize today. We're talking the problems with Commander. let's get started. But
Just
first
found my mic is
wait a
right here,
minute.
so that
Something's wrong.
audio might be
What
a
am I
little bit
wearing? Where's my tie? Where's my
different from
vest?
now on.
This is my worst nightmare. Nightmare.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a
there's,
scary nightmare. Oh,
ad right here. We'll let that play out.
Is it still there? It's still there. My
It's still there.
personality is still there. It must have just been a stress dream induced by my lackadaisical choice of a slumber position.
We all know he likes to
I guess
have,
I
like,
really need to do
those
something about
mattress,
getting a better night's sleep, which means I need
collaboration.
today's sponsor, Helix.
Helix.
Sleep makes
Looks
premium
like a comfortable
mattresses and
mattress.
bedding that are customized to fit your needs and
But what
conveniently
other
shipped right
things
to your
might
door.
be on
I
this
really
list?
did used to have problems with sleep like we were joking about in the skit, but no
I mean, the
more because
power
ever since
scaling
I
is
switched to sleeping on a
definitely
Helix
big.
mattress, I have never had a more refreshing night's sleep.
Maybe
Except maybe in my 20s.
difficulty getting
I
into
miss my
it.
20s. Helix also offers their signature
Obviously, you
sleep
have the
quiz,
pre-con
which
thing.
matches
If
you
you
to
only
your
play the
perfect
pre-con,
mattress based on your body type and sleep
you know,
preferences.
you
It
can-
takes
you
the
can get bored
hassle out
pretty
of the
quickly.
mattress buying process in
Maybe
just
the
a few
ways
easy
to play
questions.
it.
But
If you
Professor,
don't have a
what if
group.
you're scared of commitment, you might ask? Well, Helix offers a 100-night sleep trial to test your mattress out and ensure you love it.
Dude.
And also, you should work on that
Dude.
fear of commitment thing you've got going on. It's okay to be vulnerable. I promise. Wait, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, getting a better night's sleep with Helix. You know, you
you're
spend
interested in
over
Helix,
1/3 of your
feel
life
free
on a
to check
bed,
it
so
out.
make it the best it can possibly be with Helix Sleep. And if back to school season has got you thinking about upgrading your kid's room, then the Helix
My
Kids
kid's actually
mattress is a
starting to
great
sleep in the
option.
mattress very,
Just
very
visit
soon, so we'll see how that
helixsleep.com/Solarian
goes.
Community College to take advantage
Well,
of their
I mean, half
Labor Day
years
sale
old, so.
exclusive partner offer. 27%
No,
off
I think he's older
site-wide.
than that, but
With savings this
rounding.
big, you'd think it was all just a dream. Or is it? But it's not a dream. It's Helix Sleep, and thank you for sponsoring this
Thanks,
video.
Felix. Alright, let's figure this out. Lack of online play.
The first thing wrong with Commander actually stems from my love of playing Commander.
Okay.
And it's that there's just no good way to play Commander online. Now, technically speaking,
I don't like, just off of that one statement, not sure if I agree with that. I mean, I have Oracle down here and EDH Rec and Cockatrice, where you can just basically download a list of, just decks right off the bat. EDH Rec. Let's take a look. I mean, it's very, very simple. Like, let's just go to the top commanders. You can search anything you want, but like, I'm Dragon #1. Let's go to the Dragon. Worst part's my my camera's loading, or my screen's loading. All right, so obviously #1's gonna be dragons. Go to average deck. You can choose the price points, cheap, expensive, whatever. Average deck. Why is it not working? Right here. It kind of changed a little bit, but essentially this is like the average deck list. You copied it to your clipboard and then you go into EDH. You click load from clipboard, you have your things. I like just to copy and paste it. There's your average deck right there. And you save deck as. And so, I mean, these are all my decks that I have saved. And all you just gotta do is just save it. Then bam, it's ready to play an Oracle or a Cockatrice. So I'm not sure if I agree with the professor on that. He might go into this a little bit more. So sorry, I've been making a lot of videos today.
there are ways of playing it online, but also technically, I specifically said there are no good ways of playing it online. There are webcam clients like Spelltable,
Don't
which
know what
probably get the
Spelltable is.
closest to capturing the magic, no pun intended, of sitting down to play Commander with your friends, but it just isn't quite the same. To play this way, everyone is going to need to have an overhead camera, good lighting, good internet, obviously a computer,
Sounds like
desk
it could be a
space.
pain.
The requirements are many, and in the end, you are left with a low resolution and often
True, that is
glare-filled video feed
very
in every
good.
board state you're supposed to be keeping
But obviously, a
up
lot of
with.
it depends
Not to
on
mention the pain of trying to resolve a card like
the
Gitaxian
quality of
Rogue
cameras and
without
everything.
everyone
So
at the table seeing
and
your
internet,
opponent's
like you
hand,
said.
or playing commanders like Tasha, the Witchy Queen, that require you to take control of your opponent's cards. Nonetheless, I do think Spelltable is one
You don't
of
have
the
to
best
worry
ways
about
to
that
play
with
Commander online.
cockatrice.
I not only have a video covering how to get started on it, but I also have an
check that
entire
out if you haven't
Discord
already, if you're
set up
interested
so
in
that
that.
people can find free games of Webcam Commander online. If you are interested in joining the Discord, I will include links to it in this video's description. So yes, Webcam Commander via Spelltable may not be perfect, but it's probably as good as online play for the format gets.
Disagree.
And then of course there are truly digital clients like Magic the Gathering Online or Cockatrice,
There
which
you go,
allow you to
Cockatrice.
play
He is
the
bringing that up.
aforementioned cards
Let's see what he
with
says
fewer
about himself.
issues, but then new problems crop up in their place. These digital Commander experiences remove the most important aspect of what makes a Commander game special, the social aspect. When you are playing Commander in person with your friends, or heck, even with strangers, you automatically enter into a sort of social contract. Every play you make, every attack you declare, and every board wipe you cast is being made in the face of real people. This
I can definitely understand where he's coming from regarding with that, but I feel like if you're playing Cockatrice at least, you're probably going to be in like a party with someone, or a Discord or something like that. I mean, me and my friends play War typically in like an Xbox Live party, so we can hear. We can't exactly see each other, but I mean, I don't feel like you need to have that, and I don't think it takes away the experience. I don't think. So that's just my own personal opinion.
causes you to consider the human and emotional response to the decisions you are making, and it is the heart
Well, you won't
of
be
what
able
makes
to, like,
Commander
see,
a fun social experience. Replacing those opponents
like their
with
reaction like
digital
casting a
opponents
board
you
wipe. I mean,
can't
you'll
see
hear them,
or
which is
hear
good enough.
removes this consideration. Not only have you completely removed the social element from this social game, but you can't even tell if casting that farewell made anyone upset, because as soon as the game is over, your opponents will be out of your life forever. Sure, you can just queue into a new game immediately and traumatize the next group of unsuspecting Commander players, but it just isn't the same. Also, it
And we know
looks
at the
like
party it's
butt.
fine.
Sorry for the strong language there, but playing Commander on any of the digital clients, not just Magic Online, looks like absolute butt. It is slow and awkward and
Cockatrice doesn't have that issue.
grueling. And if there is truly a hell, and I am headed to it, then what awaits me is an eternity of playing Commander against strangers on Magic Online. There really is no good digital client for playing Commander, and maybe creating one is an impossible task. There will likely never be Commander on Arena, and even if there were, what do you envision that could even look like? Regardless, this lack of a sufficient digital play space to quickly and easily fire off a pod with your friends, both near and far, is one of my biggest gripes with the format, but it is not my only one.
Yeah, so kind of like while this ad plays, I mean, I definitely get where it's coming from, and a lot of groups are different. But with me and my friends, usually groups of 2 or 3 others. It's not really that big of an issue because we are in an Xbox party. We can still hear each other. We can still kind of tell people's reactions to casting certain things. So I don't really have that problem, but I'm sure a lot of people do, so I can totally understand that. But I think there are definitely ways to get about it, and I do think there is room for improvement when it comes to online play. I really do. However, with me, I don't think it's that big of an issue, just like I said, because I have ways to get around with the problems he described.
It's a tale as old as Commander itself. The question of how to balance deck power levels at the
I brought
table.
this up.
It's the origin of the joke, my deck is about a 7. It's the reason behind the bracket system that Wizards of the Coast introduced after taking over the format.
If you guys are
And
interested
with
in a
all
bracket
due respect
system
to the
video, let
bracket
me
system,
know
which
in
I
the
spent
comments
about
below.
half a dozen videos covering
And also
and
check his out,
explaining
too.
and
I always
even
like to see
encouraging
different
as
opinions,
best
of
I
course.
could. It's a problem that can't really ever truly be solved. Simply put, if
No,
you sit down at a
probably
commander
can't.
table with players you don't know or don't know well, you run a significant risk that the decks everyone brought to battle with don't line up well against one another. It's very common for one player to bring something either significantly stronger or significantly weaker than the rest of the table. Disparity in power levels is one of the biggest issues that plagues Commander, but it doesn't rank higher on the list because there are a few mitigating factors. First of all, to some extent, games of Commander are capable of self-regulating. If one player at the table has a stronger deck than the other three players, there is some ability for those other three players to team up, so to speak, to keep the most threatening deck at bay. Gosh,
It is absolutely true. I mean, there's been times when my friends and I have been playing games, and like there's a card they don't think is very powerful, but then we're up against it, and it's absolutely deadly. And then two people go up against one other, then it can sometimes it may not be fun. So that can definitely be a problem. I see what he's definitely saying here. It's hard to it is hard to balance that. One thing what we sometimes kind of do, going back to Edrek here, I mean, if you look, these are just all the top commanders. I'll just do this, much easier. You get all the top commanders. So you can scroll, and it tells you the rank of the deck and the commander. And you can search here too. So let's just go, I like Ayula, so let's just type in Ayula. Queen Amon Bears, the rank number 302. So, I mean, people can play a deck between 300 and 400, and it's kind of balanced. Obviously, we'll have like much better decks, but I feel like that's like probably the best way to go about it. And obviously, decks counter decks, and there could just be a very powerful commander that just isn't played. That's definitely a possibility. However, for the most part, it keeps things a little bit balanced unless they get that really powerful opening hand.
am I the most threatening player in every game of Commander that I've ever played?
Hey,
I
you
must
professor.
be. Of course, this strategy is only partially effective. If a deck is significantly stronger than the other three decks, it might be capable of taking on the whole table on its own without much difficulty. Furthermore, even if the rest of the table is capable of containing the strongest deck when they work in tandem, this solution breaks the spirit of Commander to some extent. Commander is a free-for-all game. So if a game turns into a legitimate 3v1 out of necessity, that's not exactly a positive outcome, but it is, let's be honest, a very common outcome. It's just how Commander works.
It is a very common outcome. I mean, there's usually someone who starts off with a very powerful opening hand too, and they're already enemy number one. So that just tends to happen. I mean, it makes sense that you sometimes want to target them first because they are the biggest threat, and if it's 3v1, you're more likely to deal with a threat and then come back and win yourself. I think a lot of it too just has to deal with the players, and if you have really understanding players who just have fun with it and aren't that competitive, the games will be much better.
Works. Which brings me to the heart of this point, which is that even more than a power level disparity problem, Commander has an expectations disparity problem. The simplest way to explain what I mean by this is that it's very possible for four players to sit down at a table to play the same game of Commander with wildly different ideas as to how that game should look. One player might be there to win at all costs, while another might be there hoping every deck gets to do something cool. One player might hate interaction or counter magic, or just the entire color blue, while another player loves playing control. One player might hate stacks pieces of any kind, while the other thinks the limitations they enact make for fun, in the trenches style gameplay.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Luckily, I kind of got into Magic the Gathering with my friends, so like everything's kind of been very consistent across the board. So like usually I don't have to deal with all this kind of stuff. I kind of know what my friends like and dislike and all that. So, but I can understand like some people are trying to play the meme deck, some people are trying to win at all costs. I think to some degree we're all trying to win.
While another player loves
we're all trying to win with our decks. Some people might just try to get off like a cool combo, which is definitely very possible. But I think at the end of the day, most people do try to win.
Trenches style gameplay. One of the most beautiful things about the game of Magic is there are many, many different ways to play it, and by playing it, express yourself. The 5
You can
colors,
definitely
the
express
10
yourself,
color
but
pairs, and the 10 color trios give players access to unique.
yeah, that's also just another fun thing. I mean, like I said, there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of commanders, right? And there's so many different combinations, and then within those combinations of the commanders, you have different kind of decks you can play, like your dragon, for example. It's most likely to play with dragons, but then maybe there's a different kind of deck with the dragon you want to play.
Unique gameplay experiences and naturally become a kind of
And
identity
of course, there's more
for
powerful,
those
so like
players.
dragons is the most
Commander
powerful
is
one
at
with
its
the dragon.
best an exercise in self-expression, but the dark flip side to enthusiastic self-expression is a narrow lens of what's acceptable. If I think a good game of Commander is one where everyone's deck does its thing, and you think a good game of Commander is one where every player is trying their best to win as quickly as possible, those are two irreconcilable viewpoints. One of us is going to come out of the game disappointed.
That's true. I mean, like I said, I think most people do try to win the game. Maybe not as quickly as possible. Like me and my friends, I think, like as long as we get our commanders out and are able to do extend at least to once, we're all pretty satisfied. But that's just me and my friends. But obviously, every single table is different.
This is to say that there's no easy solution for the power level or expectation disparity problems. I just don't think any number of brackets or game changers can ever truly solve it. These are just...
You might not be able to solve it, but you can definitely help kind of balance things out, if people even care about balancing it out, which is definitely a possibility that it might not be. But you know, at the end of the day, it kind of depends on your friend group and what they want to do, and what they want to play. So like if maybe one of them is like, hey, I'm going to play a little bit more of a powerful deck, you guys can play a powerful deck too. I know that's very, very, not bland, but very vague. But when it comes to me and my friends, I kind of understand what I'm getting into at that point.
Problems that are baked into the format's identity.
Who knows?
The only fail-proof workaround is to only play Commander with your playgroup and to also be really, really good at communicating with that playgroup. But not everyone even has a regular playgroup, and even those that do don't have a playgroup that is sufficiently large or diverse enough to avoid the pitfall of playing the same games over and over again. As such, these disparities remain one of the biggest problems with Commander.
When Verizon gives you a free phone on any plan,
and everyone
say
says Verizon.
Gemini, show me the concealer.
I agree. I think that's
long,
definitely
thin tube in the
one
middle.
of the big
But
problems
hey,
with
it's the new
Commander.
Google Pic.
Alright, politics. Let's see what he means by politics.
The next biggest problem with Commander is the role that table politics play in this game. Now, we all do politics to some extent. Don't attack me this turn, and I won't kill your commander next turn, or kill this problem permanent.
Yeah, one of my friends, love him to death, but he'll try to convince one of the players, whether that be me or one of my friends, like, oh hey, this is a problem right now, even though his side of the board is much more of a problem. That tends to get annoying.
For me, and I'll kill you last. There are so many examples of Commander politics at this point, but they all essentially amount to the same thing. Make a suboptimal choice that benefits me, and I'll make a suboptimal choice that benefits you. While a kind of tit-for-tat gameplay is inevitable in a multiplayer free-for-all game, in Commander, finding yourself on the wrong end of an in-game political exchange can often leave a sour taste in your mouth. The existence of politics in Commander creates a faucet
It does, but it
that
doesn't,
has
for me at
nothing
least,
to
it
do
doesn't
with
last
the
that
rules
long.
of Magic or Commander. Oftentimes, a deal at the table will benefit players who are ahead to the detriment of those who are behind. That might seem like a claim that's hard to make absent of context, but think about it for a moment. What do most political exchanges look like in Commander? If we accept that politics is a means of avoiding getting hit, either with removal in combat or by some creature's ability, then one of the main times it would be really necessary to propose a deal would be when you would be the target of aggression absent a deal.
Yep.
And just when would you be the target of aggression?
When you're doing
Well,
better.
by the principle I laid out in my video on threat assessment, which I'll link in the comments below, the answer is when you're the threat. The problem with politics is a similar result as the problem of poor threat assessment, though they get to that result via different means. Poor threat assessment is a mistake.
Of course, go ahead and check out that video too. I have not seen it, but I'm sure it has a lot of interesting and very good details where you can help assess threat levels between players for Commander.
In player judgment, whereas politics
Yeah, with that
tend
one
to
player that I
suggest
play
more
with, he's
savvy
very
player
like,
judgment.
I have a
Either
full board
way,
of
both
themes with
cases
very powerful
often end
effects.
up with the player
However,
behind,
I know you do
getting the
too,
short end
but
of
this
the
guy has nothing
stick.
on the board,
The biggest
so
problem with
you
politics
should deal
lies
with
in
him.
incentives. Playing well in Commander means using politics to your advantage. If you want to win a game of Commander,
I think for the
you
most
probably
part, though,
need
me
to
and my friends
engage
do
in
kind of keep it to
politics
a
at some
minimum.
point or another. Therefore, as with many issues on this list, the problem of politics is an inextricable aspect of the game of Commander. And that's a bummer, because it would be nice if players didn't have to engage with a pseudo-barter system in order to play Magic's most popular format. So what are the two biggest problems that I see with the Commander format?
Must include cards, yeah. That's
Commander
the true thing. Like, every single precon has a Arcane Signet, every single precon has a Soul Stone. That's definitely a thing that exists, and that's just because of how powerful they are, and that they can fit into basically every single deck. But when you have 100-card decks, I mean, it makes sense to include some of those powerful cards, especially if you're colorless, like the Arcane Signet and the
is a 100-card singleton format, but that's not actually true, because it's really a 99-card singleton format, since pretty much every Commander deck, and I do mean every Commander deck, has to have a Soul Ring. Actually, it's a 98-card singleton format because you're also going to want an Arcane Signet.
Yep.
And if you're a black deck, then you're kind of a 97-card singleton format because of course you're going to want to include a Demonic Tutor as well.
And then the new Soul
I guess
Stone,
that's
I'm
not
sure.
even an accurate number either,
We'll
since
see how that
pretty much
turns out.
every black deck should be running Deadly Rollick, right? And I suppose Toxic Deluge, Vampiric Tutor, oh, and Black Market Connections, of
Yeah,
course.
not every
And
single
yeah,
deck
if
has
you're in
all of
black,
these cards.
you also need
I
to
mean, they have
include
to
the
have a lot of
Soul
these.
Stone,
Well,
right?
there you
Gotta
go.
have Magic the Gathering's, Marvel's, Spider-Man's The Soul Stone.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
featuring
much good in every single
Thanos
black
if you
deck.
are in black. Oh, and also,
also,
you get the point.
No, but it keeps going on and
Increasingly,
on and on,
Commander has
so I
become
totally
plagued by
understand that.
generically powerful, best-in-slot cards that are slowly strangling the creativity and self-expression out of the 99s of optimized Commander decks. It didn't always used to be this way. When
Okay,
Commander
tell me.
was first picking up in popularity, very few cards could be considered auto-includes in Commander. You had some, of course, like Mystic Remora, Rhystic Study, and Mana Drain in blue decks. White decks would probably almost always run cards like Swords to Plowshares and Wrath of God, probably Mother of Runes back in the
Yeah, I made videos, I believe, of every single, the most popular, card in Magic the Gathering, and Sword of Plowshares was one of them. Arcane Signet was, I think, number 2 or 3. Soul Ring was obviously number 1. So check out that video if you haven't already. Beast Within is also another very popular one for
and
green.
so on and so forth. But the Teferi's protections and smothering tithes and Esper Sentinels? I have to cut myself
Because
off there
the issue is if you don't have these
spend
cards
the
in your
entire
deck, you're already
video
kind of at a
simply
disadvantage.
listing the generically powerful cards that have entered the Commander card pool over the past 5 or so years. Now, while there's no actual rule in Commander deck building that says you must include the must-includes, that doesn't mean their existence isn't a real issue, or that the cards don't exert an influence
could also
on the
be solved
game,
by friends.
even
I mean,
if
if they
you
don't want to
yourself
include that,
choose
those kind of
not
things,
to run them. That's because even if you opt out
don't
of
have
them,
to.
your opponents
That's
might
totally
not.
up to them.
It can also
I'm
be hard
okay
for
with
some
it.
players to turn off that voice in their head that says there's a better option for a given slot than the one they're running. I try my best to build around my commander, filling the various roles my deck needs with cards that specifically synergize or relate to my commander's game plan. Nature's Lore, for instance, is a more powerful ramp spell
Yep,
than
Nature's
Sakura
Lore
Tribe
and then
Elder,
Rapid
but
Growth.
Sakura Tribe Elder is a stronger card in a Moraine of Clan Neltoth deck. But these kinds of choices are not always possible. There's not really a replacement for Teferi's protection.
And then,
or
of course, when
Deflecting
you're
SWAT
also in
for that
Commander,
matter.
you'll
There's
probably be
certainly no
including,
replacement for
33
Bolas's
Soulish
Citadel.
lands.
One of the initial
Choose like
joys
one-third
of
of the deck,
Commander
then
was
maybe,
giving players the opportunity to play
fourth
with
of the
cards
deck is
that
like,
didn't see much play in traditional constructed
just like must
formats.
include cards,
Dredging
so
up
like the
old
commander,
and
maybe the partner
esoteric
if it has
cards
the
to run
partner,
in your deck
then
is a
stuff like Soul
rewarding
Ring, Arcane Signet,
experience
Beast
that has
Within,
become
Sword of
harder
Plowshares,
and
etc.
harder with each new set. And it's a shame because honestly, it's
Yeah, 50%
far
of
too
the
late
cards
to
is
put the
like
toothpaste
maybe
back
cards
in the
that
tube. The tube is
correspond
still
with the
oozing
commander,
out
which
newer
I still think is
and
a good
stronger
amount. You're able to
toothpaste
still
at an
play around.
extraordinary rate. As I look at all of these problems in Commander, I see one unifying issue. There is really only one major problem with Commander that most of these other issues, and probably the ones that I haven't even mentioned, fall under. And that's simply that Magic the Gathering was not designed for Commander.
Very true. I mean, I have never even played. I never played just normal Magic the Gathering, the 60 card format, except for the Magic Arena for a little bit of time. It took up way too much space on my phone, so that's why I stopped playing. I also played it once when I went to my very first and only pre-release for the for Duskborn for Magic the Gathering. Other than that, I mean, that's all I really know about it. But yes, it's true. It wasn't made for
Introducing the business card.
it wasn't made for Commander. But I think with the pieces that we have in place, it does kind of work pretty well. But of course, like he's going to be talking about, I'm sure there's a lot of problems.
Not only is the fact that Magic was not designed for Commander our number one problem with the format, but it's also an issue that cannot be solved, because it's an inherent aspect of the very nature of casual, community-created gameplay. Magic the Gathering simply was not designed with Commander in mind. That's true both in the sense that there are cards like Sorin Markov, which can immediately make target opponent's life total become 10, the infamous Rhystic Study, which needs no explanation, and Fire Covenant that are not remotely balanced around Commander life.
That's why I'm glad there is a separate ban list for Commander 2, so that you can not have those crazy, stupid combos that make you just win right away. That's not fun for anyone involved.
Life totals, or gameplay pace, and more broadly in the sense that the spirit of the format is at odds with the intended goals of the game. In the last point, I talked about differing expectations, but there is one expectation that has become the prevailing attitude at most Commander tables. A good game is one where everyone's deck does its thing.
Yep,
This expectation becoming the norm makes sense given that Commander is a casual, social format, but there's a downside to it. Magic the Gathering is a game oriented towards winning. When you take a game that was designed with winning in mind and play it like winning is secondary, you're going to run into some problems.
Okay.
As it stands, winning is the only objective of a game of Commander that's, well, objective. All the other objectives that many Magic the Gathering players play towards are subjective. Did everyone have fun? Did everyone do their thing? These are not clearly defined metrics to evaluate the game with. When you put the goal of winning in the back seat, the game becomes amorphous. Games that end quickly are considered failures. But games that go on too long drive everyone insane. Games without interaction are one note, while games with too much interaction grind to a halt.
Yeah, a lot of the things that he's talking about is definitely very true.
And yet games do need to end, right? Someone needs
So, I
to.
mean, if you do have that one group of friends, I'm sure you're continuing to play with them because you do like the balance that that table brings to your games. Like, if the games won't last too long, they won't be too short, they're balanced, and people are friendly.
Win? One of our most infamous episodes of Shuffle Up and Play is where Kyle Hill slams
watched
down a 2-card combo and wins on the spot. The comments were outraged. You're not supposed to win like that.
Yeah, I mean, CDH basically mean competitive. Wow, the Tutor deck found an infinite combo, you are so good at Magic. Yeah, a lot of people don't like it when there's like one-shot infinite combos. Kyle's never getting invited back at Commander at home.
At the majority
And
of
like,
people
here's the thing
said,
too, I think a
you
lot
know
of the
how
time, a lot of people don't
ridiculous
even
I felt
realize
saying
that
to Kyle Hill when he
they're
returned,
being
hey, by the way, try not to
a little
win
bit difficult to
like
play with.
that. Like what? He asked. You know, like that. As a result of these competing pressures, Commander has become the most arbitrary way to play Magic.
It is.
Some win conditions are considered acceptable, while others are not. Some interaction is considered acceptable, while other
Correct.
interaction is not considered acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Sword Plowshares is still just like a remove a thing.
Some
So that's still kind
broken
of frustrating,
mana
but that's
rocks
just
are
the
integral to
design of the
format
card.
integrity, while others are relegated to CEDH. Ironically, making Commander be about subjectively having fun more than about winning leads to more conflict than there would be if the objective was objective. Tension is just baked into the format's goals. Play optimally, but not too optimally. Try to win, but Don't try too hard to win.
That's true.
Make good deck building choices, but don't make too good of deck building choices. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Ensuring that everyone has a
Delicate
good time in a game of Commander is an impossible task. And yet for most players, it's the only task that matters. How do you reconcile this? My feeling
I got a
is
feeling if
you can't.
your one objective
You
is just to
have
win no
do
matter
the
what and
best
doing
you
everything,
can to make
you're not
the
going to be
game
lasting at that
fun
table for
and
very
trust
long.
everyone else to do the same. I have said it before,
Yeah, you
and
basically
I
kind
will
of fit into
say
your own
it
kind of
again.
category into what
Commander
works.
is
It
essentially
is definitely a broken format, as he's pointing
It
out.
only works when everyone at the table pretends that it works.
This is the newly
But no, he's
redesigned
absolutely
Dell
right when
AI
it comes to that,
PC
and there's a
with
30-second ad. Holy cow. Oh, I can skip it.
You might think that because I've been talking about all of Commander's weaknesses for this whole video that I'm being needlessly critical of a format that many people love.
No, I think it's definitely needed to have these conversations. I think it's important to have these conversations with the players at your table, just so everyone's kind of on the same page, so that you guys can have fun, so that you guys can all enjoy. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's all about enjoying yourself. It's all, you know, I mean, everyone tries to win, sure, but it's like sports, especially like the early league. You know, it's like, yeah, you want to win, but you're also trying to have fun. I think that's what Commander format is. You know, you're trying to have fun. You are trying to win, but even if you don't win, if you have a good game, I think most people are satisfied with that. But like, I think it's very important to talk about these conversations, because I think at the end of the day, by having these conversations, you can definitely improve the format, improve your games with your group.
And myself included in that. But the truth is actually the opposite. Commander is Magic's most popular format in spite of these inherent issues.
Correct.
It is a testament to Magic that a community-designed format rose to prominence as the most popular way to play the game. Magic the Gathering is not only the best game ever designed, it's also the best game system ever designed. It is a game system so good that it can be warped into something it was never intended to do, and come out even more popular than it was initially conceived. So yes, there are many problems with Commander, many that I didn't list here that you may want to list in the comments below, but the biggest problem with Commander is just that I'm not playing it right now, because I'd really like to be. And if you would like to join in that joy with me, you can check out our latest episode of Shuffle Up and Play, where
Feel free to check that out. Let's take a look at some of the comments down below. Thank you to Helix Sleep. Addendum to Magic isn't designed for Commander. Designing every new set for Commander breaks the format, including the Commander. That is true. I mean, a lot of the Universes Beyond sets, there's like half the cards are just Commanders. Which I can understand why, because I mean, they're trying to get people in to Magic the Gathering, so they want to be able to play their favorite players, like Final Fantasy, for example. I mean, people want to play as Tifa, people want to play as Rex, people want to play as Cloud, people want to play as Sephiroth, people want to play as Aerith, you know, so all these different people, you know. Tabletop Simulator with the MTG 4-player table scripted stream workshop mod is the best way of playing online Commander, almost as good as playing in person. Not sure what that is. If you know what that is, let me know in the comments below. The biggest problem with Commander in real life, in my opinion, is the difficulty in shuffling a 100-card sleeve deck in a timely fashion. That is absolutely true. Luckily with Cockatrice, that's not really a problem.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic the Gathering players, we got MBT Yu-Gi-Oh! On to play Commander and have a great time. That episode, click the I or whatever, or link in this video's...
Yeah, that's basically the video. Thank you to the Tellurian Community College for putting this video out there. And you know, just allowing people to react to it. I appreciate that. Feel free to check out his content. Love the professor, love his content. And if you have any additional comments you'd like to make, or if there's anything you disagree with what I said or with what he said, share it down in the comments below. And of course, while you're there, don't forget to subscribe on the way down. All right, I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.